Welcome back, everyone, to the FloTrack podcast. Thank you for joining us for our first part of the Prefontaine Classic preview. I'm Kevin. He's Gordon. Special shout out to those of you watching live, recording later than normal. But if you're in the chat, be sure to say hello. We're going to talk about the Friday night events at the Pre Classic, in addition to both the hundreds, because if we waited and just did Friday today and then on Friday's show did Saturday, we'd run out of time because there's so much going on Saturday to preview. So we'll do a couple sprint races, but then mostly the distance stuff. And in addition, we'll do some Guess My PR, answer some YouTube comments. But before we get any further, I think we should start first with all the scratches, Gordon, that have taken place recently. We have Marcel Jacobs, Marvin Bracey, Ronnie Baker in the men's 100, Kasser Semenya, who is scheduled to run in the women's 2 mile, Matthew Centrowitz in the Bowerman mile, Thing Mo in the 800, and then Rye Benjamin in the 400-meter hurdles. Which one stings the most to you?
What's the definition of sting?
Hurts.
Hurts?
Yeah,
Well,
you. Like, which one did you really want to see?
I really wanted to see Centrowitz run. I think because he hasn't run since November of last year in a road 5K, and seeing how the men's 1500 on the US side is wide open, and we don't even know if the best 1500-meter runner will even run it in Cooper Tier. Cole Hocker's not been off the charts this year. I remember we talked about this. I don't know when I did a pod, but I was comparing Centro's career to Leo Manzano's, and
Mm-hmm.
the end of Leo hit. It was like once it hit, it was over, right? And
Yeah.
there was projections that maybe last year was going to be the end of Centro, but he was able to still be fit, get top 3 at USA's. He didn't do as well at the
Yeah.
Olympics, but still top 3 at USA's is still pretty good. Maybe injuries have caught up to him. There was reports that it was a knee injury, that this might be the end of it. This might be the end of the Centro run, because let's be honest, if you're not debuting until June, you haven't run
Mm-hmm.
anything indoors, nothing in March, in May. You're not
Yeah.
you're not going to be running till like June. I mean, the meet is mid-June. Like, he's running out of time, and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if he would have missed this year, I don't see how he's ever going to come back into 2023. So that's the biggest surprise, because it might mean the end of one of the greatest 1500-meter US careers we've ever seen in Matthew Centrowitz. So that's kind of the biggest sting, is because, wait a minute, the
Yeah.
decade of Centro might be coming to an end.
Yeah. You're right. There's not much time. And we settled this. This is the marker. If we don't see him by now, it's a problem. And then you saw him on the start line. You're like, man, okay, he must be ready to roll, because he could have run that 1500 lower level race, but he was entered in the Bowerman Mile, where basically you have a Olympic rematch in many senses. A lot of the same players there, so definitely concerned about that. For me, the one that stung the most is in the women's 8 with the Thing Mo, because we saw her at Penn. She looked really sharp. I wanted to see her versus Hodgkinson. I just wanted to get a gauge on how big of a gap there was between those two, and then how big of a gap from 2 to 3 there is, because Ajay Wilson, Raven Rogers, like there's just like a lot of top flight women's 800-meter runners in this race. And Mo, because she was in college, we were just seeing her a lot. We've seen her a bunch. She races a lot. She hasn't been a pro for very long, and we've seen her in some 400, seen her in some miles, a couple low key 800s, but this was the first big 800 of 2022. So I really was looking forward to that matchup, because she can carry a race all by herself and make it interesting. But her plus all the people we expect to be top contenders in the 800 for this little pre-world championship race, I was really looking forward to that. And I didn't see that one coming. Like some of these other scratches, it's like, okay, well, that person we haven't seen yet. That person's looks like they've been banged up. The thing Mo, everything looked to be smooth sailing, which is why it caught me off guard.
And then I will add, I think, as we kind of transition and talking about the hundreds coming up on Saturday,
Yeah, let's do that.
the no Bracy and no Baker, it kind of makes me think that while we thought the U.S. had like 5 to 7 guys, it may be more like 2 to 3 because Baker, we haven't seen Baker since what, indoor season maybe? I don't even remember when he's last run. But Baker is not running like a 9.8 guy. Bracy, he's also not running like a 9.8 guy because we haven't seen him. It really looks like when it comes down to it, like the true known 100-meter guys on the US side is basically going to be Curly and Bromell, and that the ultimate and Coleman. So those three guys, the ultimate depth of men's 100 is kind of fading with Bracy not showing up lately, maybe due to injury. Baker seems like he's not in the same form that he was, from previous years. And this is all based off of like them not
Yeah,
running. I mean, clearly, if you're a legit 100-meter runner in this world, you're able to run in May, in April, because that's what the top dogs are doing. So it
yeah.
does give me a
So
little bit of concern. And then ultimately, it would have been nice to see Jacobs in this race. This was kind of the writing on the wall was there because he had pulled out of other races. He pulled out of
yeah.
that matchup with Curly in Nairobi due to injury. And he tweeted out, "Hi guys, unfortunately, I can't run in the Diamond League in Eugene, USA on Sunday." I love how he calls it Diamond League in Eugene, USA, and not Prefontaine Classic. I did an MRI and it showed a distraction elongation of the first degree. It sounds like a criminal uh,
Mhm.
penalty. I have not.
Yeah.
I have to stop running for 10 days. Sad face. Don't worry. I'll be back in shape soon. Heart, arm strength. So he has to
Photo
stop running for
credit.
10 days.
Hello, Canary Islands. You should just read the entire post. Make sure you get the photo credit in there from Hello, Canary Islands. Yeah, this is a bummer. This is a bummer. I mean, he didn't look great in his last race, but he was good indoors. To go back to something you said a second ago on Bracy and Baker, Bracy did run in Puerto Rico 10.11, won his heat, but then didn't come back and run the final. So we've seen him more than we've seen Ronnie Baker.
True.
Also,
But Bracy
also
shouldn't have
though,
been in this race.
Arian Knighton's in this race. And I don't know if he's going to double, but if a guy runs 1949, I'm assuming he's going to be pretty solid um, in the one as well. He's going to be able to do something. This is the
Yeah.
original
Let's
announcement. This is the
let's
original
let's talk a
announcement.
little bit
So
about
that's changed. That's changed now.
let's talk
But
a little bit
Bromel's
about
in
this
it.
men's 100. Yeah. How do you see it playing out? What do you think is going to happen? Who do you consider the favorite, and what do you think is like the result that people want, the result that people don't want? Like, how do you think it's going to play out with this men's 100 now that we know
All
the
right, we got it.
actual start list?
Yeah, so here's the start list. Bednarik, as of now, Bednarik, Bromell, Coleman, DeGrasse, Curly, King, Knighton, Lyles, Tabogo. So there's a couple different things you're looking for here. One, obviously, Coleman is, I think, the highest seeded guy remaining because there's no Marcel Jacobs, and I have him just behind Marcel Jenkins Jacobs in the rankings. But I obviously think Curly and Bromell aren't that far behind. Knighton I see as a wild card just because of the 1949. So that I have no idea. Like he could run 10:05, and I'd be like, okay, well that's solid. Or he could run 9:83, and I don't think I'd be surprised at either outcome. Also, side note, pretty cool matchup though between Knighton and Tabogo. Both teenagers. Remember Tabogo ran really fast earlier this year, so keep an eye on him. But I would say I would have Coleman as the slight favorite ahead of Bromell and Curly, but it's really close. And I would be surprised, other than Knighton, I would be surprised if someone outside that group won this race.
Yeah, I mean Coleman and Bromell and Curly. That's the big three. DeGrasse is the we don't give no respect guy in the field, because he's the Olympic champion in the 200.
Yeah, but he hasn't
But
been running that fast right now.
he has been
He's
running
fine.
fast, so that's why
He's gonna be fine in July. Yeah.
yeah. I think the funnest result would be a night and win because we thought the bolt comparisons were great in 19 when he ran
Yeah.
1949.
Yeah.
If he goes in and wins this race at pre
Yeah.
2 months out from Worlds, we're gonna be like
Yeah.
thinking, "Holy crap, he legitimately might be a U.S. bolt, like winning that race." I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna
You
happen,
you
but if he that would be legit. Like even if you won it running like 9.92, beating a
Yeah,
Curly, Coleman, and Bromell and a DeGrasse, that's that's legit. Um,
yeah.
I will say this. Here's my main question I have for you on this field. Do you believe that the winner of this race should be the
Mm.
world favorite 2 months later?
Great question. I was just thinking this because I've held Jacobs up as the number one guy. I think if Coleman wins, he's number one. I think if Curly wins, he's number. If it's a crazy off the board upset, then maybe no. But I think if that top group wins, I think they will be the favorite. What do you think?
I think whoever wins this should be the favorite because no disrespect to Jacobs, but Jacobs is hurt. So
Hmm.
that's going to be
Hmm.
a factor. Even if Jacobs, like,
And he
that's
hasn't
going
been
to be
running
a,
crazy either. I mean, he won World Indoors,
yeah.
but he hasn't been running crazy fast either. So we have enough
Like, I'm willing
information
to
at this
say,
point.
yeah, whoever wins this race is the favorite. You see this fun tweet from Michael Johnson. I don't know him, which is a great way to start your tweet. I don't know him, but from what I've seen, Arian Knighton's desire to be the next Bolt is about equal to Bolt's desire to be the next Michael Johnson. The best way to make their own history and surpass the last. First of all, I love how Michael Johnson finds a way to say that the greatest sprinter of all time really just wanted to be him and Usain Bolt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
No,
he's
no,
the
he's saying he
foundation of
didn't want to
Usain
be.
Bolt.
No,
I
no,
don't know
he
if
said he
that. I
didn't
think
want
he's
to be him, but he's creating an awesome analogy. He's saying Arian Knighton is to Bolt as Bolt was to me. That's an awesome way to put yourself in the analogy. I love it.
yeah. Wait. Oh, so he's implying that Bolt didn't want to be him.
Bolt doesn't want to be him. Bolt wanted to be Bolt. Knighton doesn't want to. Knighton wants to be Knighton. That's what he said.
See, here's the thing. That's a
I would love
cliche
to be
that every
Bolt. I just want to go on record and say if you ever said, "Hey, is this guy the next Bolt?" I'd be like, "Yes, I would love to be the next Bolt." Hundred
right.
percent.
I feel like it's just cliche, and you're supposed to say, "Oh no, I'm gonna be the next me." Like, are you the
The
next
first me.
MJ? No, I'm the next LeBron. Like, because it sounds
Yeah.
more powerful. But at the end of the day, when you were 12 and you were
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
idolizing you wanted to be them. Don't pretend you didn't want to be them. You wanted to
Hmm.
be them. And now that you are them, you can't be like, I changed my mind on myself. No. So I just think that they may say they don't want to be the next Bolt, but no one wants to be the next Bolt. Because if you're the next Bolt, you're
That'd be
freaking
awesome.
owning a decade of track and field.
Be
You're
awesome.
signing multi-million-dollar sponsorships. You're going to be go down in history as one of the greatest ever. Yes,
Yeah.
you want to be the
Yeah.
next Bolt.
I think
Who
what people
doesn't?
mean, well, you don't want the expectations that come with it because if it ends up not working out, you don't want, oh man, they could have been this and then they weren't. But just the idea of, hey, could I have this person's career? You tell any person at the age of 18, 19, 20, hey, do you want to have the career of the greatest of all time? I think most people would be like, yes, yes, I would love that.
I want that.
Okay, we don't have a ton of time. Anything left on the men's 100? Or do you want to jump to the women's 100?
Predictions. What's your top three order? Go.
I'm gonna go. Man, this is tough. I'll go Coleman, Bromell, Curly, Knighton, but it's tight. It's very tight.
I'm gonna go Bromell, Curly, Coleman.
Romeo, Curly, Coleman. Okay, wow, you have Coleman third. That would be. I think that would be a surprise if that happened. All right, women's 100. This start list got released right after we got done recording, just as Gordon said on Monday. Solid field, especially given the fact that a lot of big names are running the women's 100 or the 200. So 100 is Asher Smith, Daniels, Jackson, Kambunji, Richardson, Toulouse, Terry, Thompson, Hurrah, and Brianna Williams. What do you think?
It's a legit field. Even with, I think you can't. I mean, you can technically get better by putting Shelly and Fraser Price in there, but
Yeah.
with or without her, this is very similar to what the World Final is going to look like, talent
Yeah.
wise. Now, obviously, it's not going to be these exact 8 women, but it's going to be close enough, or 9 women.
Nine. Yeah.
Obviously, Elaine Thompson Raw, she's going to win this race. Like, that's not the question. The question isn't, can someone beat Elaine Thompson Raw? I think there's two questions. One, how fast will Elaine run?
Mhm.
Um, will she throw down a 10-8, or is she going to be going down to the 10-6s? Because we'll get to see uh,
Yeah.
what Elaine. And then the second part of the race is where will people may not want to hear this because I know people think Shakari gets too much attention and doesn't have the performances. But at the end of the day, you want to see where Shakari finishes in this field. No one cares about Dina Asher Smith's finish or Tiana Daniels' finish or Toulouse finish. They care about Richardson's finish, where she
I
lands
I
in
do.
this.
I care. For the
No, you
record, I just
don't.
want to
You
say I
care
care.
about where
Yes, I
Shakira
do. I
Richardson
care.
finishes. You want to see her.
Um, I
You are
can
going to
care
want to
about
know
where
whether
9
she's going to
people
finish
finishes.
seventh, where does she finish fifth, second, first. She's not finishing first, but um,
I have the capacity to care about where all 9 people finish. It doesn't take that much
no,
mental
you don't.
energy.
You don't
I
have.
think it
You don't have
is
that.
well, no, but here's the thing. And how does she stack up to the Americans, right? Because we talked about this when we did a little preview on Monday. It's like the expectation isn't to beat Thompson or Raw, but if or even maybe shouldn't beat Jackson or Asher Smith. Maybe she gets fourth, but head to head against the American, she's in a good spot. I think that's a good result for her. Not what we would have said a year ago, but results change, times change. This field, though, is much more similar to what the final could be in Eugene than the men's field because the men's field is just way American heavy, and the max they can get is four. The women's field, you go through, you have Great Britain, US, Jamaica, Switzerland, US, Ivory Coast, US, Jamaica, Jamaica. So there's four Jamaican women in this field, or excuse me, three Jamaican women in this field, and then three US women in this field, and then the rest Switzerland, Great Britain, and Ivory Coast. So that's a you could see a final like this. Now, obviously, I would anticipate Jillian Fraser Price would be in there, and there's some other women that could make this final. But it does kind of give you a little bit of a look into what you could see, or even on the Diamond League circuit when it's not in the U.S. I know when it is in the U.S., some of those fields get a little bit more U.S. heavy, but this is tough. I mean, I had a feeling it was going to be really a good field, but then you saw the 200 field, and you're thinking, okay, well, Fraser Price isn't in there. I wonder if Kambunji is going to be in there. Like some of these other top talents may not be in there, but this is a tough race for all the Americans, Richardson in particular. Do you want to change? What was your prediction about where she finished? Do you want to change it now
Where
that you've seen the
Richardson will
field?
finish?
Yeah, because you think Thompson Raw is going to win. I think
Yes.
Thompson Raw is going to win. I think runner up, I would probably go with Asher Smith, Jackson. Those
I
looked
know exactly what's
pretty
going to
good
happen.
too. Okay, tell me. Okay, Gordon is going to tell us exactly what happens in the women's 100. Go.
Bring up the start list again. I'll tell you the exact order. Like, I'm 99.9% sure this will be the exact order. In first place will be Elaine Thompson Hurrah. In
Hmm.
second place will be Dina Asher Smith. In third place will be Sharika Jackson. In fourth place will be Talu. In fifth place will be Kambunji. In sixth place will be Richardson. Seventh, Terry. Eighth, Tiana Daniels. And in ninth place, Brianna Williams. That will be the order. Hurrah, Smith, Jackson, Talu, Kambunji, Richardson, Terry, Daniels, Williams. Lock it in. That's the result.
That would not be a great result for the U.S.,
No,
but
I
also
think
that could be
I
a
think the
realistic
U.S. are going to
result
get
too.
smoked in this race. I think they're going to get smoked. They're going to finish all sixth or worse.
Are you just trying to just do the opposite of what you did last year, which is continually pick the U.S. against Jamaica? Is that what this is? You're just every other year you're just switching.
Well, I'm picking Jamaica against U.S. in this situation. I think
That's what I'm saying.
that
And last year you picked her to win the pre-classic 100 last year. Do you remember that?
I did. Ooh, you know,
After
I
what
learned.
Thompson Hurrah and Fraser Price had done, you're like, yes, I'm gonna pick her.
Okay,
Not
well,
gonna
I'm
pick
not
those
picking.
two.
I'm picking her to get sixth. I'm picking her to be the top
Okay,
American, but I think all three Americans will finish in six, seven, and eight.
fair. All right.
That's the ultimate prediction. The three Americans will finish six, seven, eight. Like that's the real prediction because Kambunji versus Tolu versus Jackson, like who cares? The real situation is going to be Thompson will win, and then
Mhm.
6, 7, 8 will be the three Americans, with Sha'Carri being the top American. And then Sha'Carri will tweet out, just getting started, top American. So
Okay. And now you're predicting the
Natalie
tweets.
Gordon said Brianna Williams is not finishing dead last. Well, someone's going to have to finish dead last. So someone's going to do it. People are upset in the
Well,
chat.
hold on. But you did. I don't necessarily agree with your 9, but like, and I don't want to go into like everybody predict. We predict top 9 for every race because we'll be here all day. But you're right. Somebody does have to finish last in this field, and it's
Yeah.
really even. Like Thompson Raw cut above everybody else, but then you could talk yourself into a lot of these women finishing in that 2, 3, 4 range. Whereas you go into some of these other races, you could definitely see, all right, there's like a second tier, like the mile, right? You could definitely, it's no one's going to be like, man, toss up between Colin Solomon and Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Don't really know how that one's going to go. Like, there's a there's a clearer pecking order in some of these events. The women's 100 after Thompson Raw is very balanced. So someone had to get last. So if you're criticizing Gordon in the chat, you need to put who you think's going to get last. Just kidding. You don't need to do
Yeah.
that.
Can't have everyone finish second. Someone's got to be last.
Well, and everybody's had a
Speaking of,
glimmer of hope because you've always talked about Daniels just always being there, being steady. We've seen what Terry has done this year. Tolu is always in the mix. You could just make an argument, Kambunji. You could just like make an argument for everybody to go in here.
well,
But
I still believe in Daniels, just not in the Prefontaine Classic. Like Daniels is not going to run well here, but then when it comes to USA's, she's going to finish top three. Like that's how that works.
you got it all
Daniels is
figured
good at
out.
getting good at being good at top three at USA's, not necessarily top three at Prefontaine Classic.
Prefontaine results are not always predictive, even though we just said that the men they should be considered the favorite. But remember, in was it 19 and Shelly Ann ran like 11.5 when she just cruised through. Remember that one? And then it's
Yeah,
like, is this it? Is it over? Nope. Fast as ever. Ready for the
sorry,
Friday stuff?
I'm a bit distracted right now. There's like
What up?
people trying to like break through my fence, and they don't know that I can see them.
Wait,
They're like putting up.
are they?
It's really weird. They're bringing like piping. I wish I could show you
Oh,
guys. This is weird. Should I be concerned, Kevin? Should I be concerned?
well, did you expect people? Are they doing
No.
some sort of? What's the piping for?
I don't know. There's like this giant tube, like like a gutter tube, and now they're bringing like
Okay,
tree branches. All right,
so
I'll keep an eye on
Gordon
them.
doesn't.
If
Gordon doesn't
if I
own his
get
home. For
up,
those of you, no.
yeah, I
Did
don't.
the
But
guy who
my
owns your house tell you that they had people coming to work on the house
no,
today?
the guy who owns my house lives in Israel, so he's clearly not here.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. Maybe they're putting up gutters. Let's move on though. We got to keep rolling here.
All right,
Men's
we'll keep going.
10,000. You want to talk about the distance stuff?
Yeah, of course. Prefontaine Classic.
So, yeah. So
Prefontaine was a
Friday night
distance runner.
we got the distance action. So we have the 10,000s, which are the U.S. champions. So they are naming team members for the World Championship team at this meet, which is crazy. Women's 2 mile, men's 5K, women's 5K. Those three are going to be world record attempts. We'll get to those in a second, but we got the U.S. championships here, and it's hard to figure out. The fields are relatively smallish when you look at them, and then when you weed out the people whose seating times are, a minute back or so of some of the other folks in here, the list of people who could actually qualify is pretty short. And even though this is earlier than we expected, it's not as if all these people raced a bunch of times. So, for example, on the men's side of things, you got Grant Fisher. Everybody's going to pick Grant Fisher. Of course, you're going to pick Grant Fisher because he ran 12:53 and 26:33. But he hasn't done anything since then. And that was a long time ago now. So I'm assuming he's fine. And I'm assuming the 12:53 indoors American record, 26:33 outdoors American record. I'm assuming he's still in some sort of vicinity of that shape, but it was a long time ago. Woody Kincaid, same schedule, except he didn't run 26:33. He rabbited during that 26:33. But have we seen anything since? No. It's almost been marathon type preparations in the 10,000. Klecker, Joe Klecker, who made the Olympic team, ran 13:04. He ran that Penn 4 by mile. He's seated pretty high. Ben True was fourth last year. Don't forget about Ben True, but he hasn't raced on the track this year. The other names I've listed: McGorty, Bohr, Kipchirchir, Maggard, Mance, Lamong, and Simbasa. So I have a list of like about 10 possibilities, although some of those are long shots. Lamong got 12th at the Sound Running race. That's more just the idea of never counting out Lopez Lamong because he's had this career resurrection. So I could probably even cut it down to maybe 5 or 6 if I had to choose. How many do you think have a chance at making the team, and who is your team?
Well, it's two are already going to. We know Fisher and Kincaid are making this team. I don't see a situation where neither of them don't make it. So it's really a bunch of people fighting for that third spot. And I'll tell you, I mean, true. I don't think he's making it because we haven't seen him. I think he's just here for the joyride. I think he originally wasn't declared and declared last minute. He's hasn't run all year. I think
He's
True
run.
is
He's
kind of
hasn't run
just
on the
there.
track. He's hasn't run on the track. He's run
Yeah,
a lot,
well,
raced
that's
a
what I
lot.
meant.
Yeah, yeah.
But McGordy, that's a maybe. Bohr. The I think when it comes down to it, I think it's going to be between Emmanuel Bohr and Joe Klecker for that third spot. If I had to like pick two people to battle, I think Lamong, no. Dylan Maggard, he's a maybe wild card. You need the race to go a certain way. Connor Mance, he's just going to be
Hmm.
really good at getting fourth. That's what Connor Mance is going to be
Wow.
good at. Is be like, I'm good at getting fourth,
You think
fourth or
so?
fifth. Yeah,
I
he'll
think.
like kick for fourth. He'll be an eighth, and then he'll kick for fourth. But
See, I
be
think the
like
opposite. I think he'll be
5 meters
leading.
back of third.
I think he'll be leading with 800 to go and maybe slide back to fourth. You
Yeah, he'll be
know,
leading, but
I
then a move will be made, and then he'll catch back up and get fourth.
so he ran 27:25 in the 10K at this in the March, and then he ran 13:13 at the track meet in May. But I don't think he finishes lower than sixth.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think
Fourth
he's
to
going to be
sixth.
there. Yeah. I
Yeah, he'll
just
be there,
with
but he's
bolt
not going
with
to be there to get top
I
three.
agree with you on Fisher and Kincaid. I don't want to pick against people who ran that fast. Klecker looks healthy. McGorty ran both those races, although he ran them quite a bit slower than his Bowerman teammates. Bohr, he's 10th in the 10K last year. He got
He
second
has
in
speed.
US indoors in the 3K. Yeah, I don't know if I'm confident in the 10. If this is the 5, I would definitely pick him. And then Kipchirchir, Maggard. Simbasa, I think, could be a wild card. He got seventh last year, but he finished behind some folks that I think he should have beaten at the track meet. So I think I'll go Fisher, Kincaid. Do you think it could be chalk from last year? Could we get Fisher, Kincaid, Klecker again?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the betting favorite if we had betting, which we need to make happen. That would be the bet. But I really do think um, two are like 99% chance happening, and Fisher and Kincaid. Klecker
Mm-hmm.
is the one that has I mean, Klecker could easily get third, and it's like, all right, guys, chalk, we're good. But I really do
Yeah.
think Emmanuel Bohr is the biggest challenger to Klecker. Klecker's the favorite over Bohr, but I do think Bohr has speed, and I don't think it's going to be fast. I think it's going to be a slow 10K. I think it's going to be a fast last 3K, last 4K.
Yeah.
There's no need for it to be honest. Everyone has a standard that needs it. Like, I think it's going to be tactical, and I think people who with speed and Klecker has speed, so that's why Klecker is still a favorite because Klecker can run like a 355 mile. It's not like Klecker doesn't have speed. So, but I do think
Mhm.
if I had to pick a challenger to Klecker, it would be Bohr. I'll pick Klecker over Bohr, but Bohr is the challenger.
I don't disagree with any of those names. I just think this feels like a weird race, and Mance does well in weird races because we're
Well enough to
relying
finish
on.
top three.
Yeah, I think I don't wouldn't pick him to win, but I could see if everybody's at their best, it's going to be tough. But you're saying it's not going to be a fast race. It's strange. Like we just don't have like this. Almost reminds me of like an NCAA cross country race where we saw them twice earlier.
Yeah,
Some of them. Oh, jogged at conference. What does that mean? That's the same as
yeah.
like him running 13:15 or something at a meet, and then the people who went all out went to the well in March. You feel good about that? Or are you worried that they're not going to be peaking at the right time? See, the fact that I've convinced myself this is kind of like cross just makes me want to pick Connor Mance because he's amazing across country. That's what this feels like.
All right.
Let's
So,
keep it.
what's the gun to your head pick? What are your top three?
Oh, I'm gonna go Fisher. I'll go Fisher, Kincaid, and then I'll be creative. I'll say Mance.
All right. I'm going Fisher. I'm going to go Fisher, Bohr, Kincaid.
Yep.
But likely Klecker will make it. I'm going Fisher, Bohr, Kincaid.
Yeah. We're not respecting Klecker, but
We're
Klecker is
not.
the Klecker is a safe pick. It's a sensible pick. Women's side of things, you got a little bit of the same situation here. Um, if you want to just eliminate it down to a number, you look at the seed times, and there's only 6 women who are seeded 31-15 or faster. Cranny, Schweizer, Infeld, Monson, Kaladi, Rogers. Two of the three who made it last year are on the start list. Schweizer got second, Monson got third. Sisson's not here. She won it. Cranny was fourth last year. Similar situation with the races that are set up from before. So I mean I would say I feel good about Cranny because she ran those two, ran 14:33, ran the 30:14. Schweizer was hurt, didn't run anything until Mount Sac this year, which ran 15:02. Monson though hasn't run a lot, ran a 1500. Kaladi's raced more. She's lost to Monson a couple times. She DNF'd this race last year. I think I'm going to put her on this year. Again, we're doing these. A lot of these picks are super duper with no information at all. But I think I'll go Cranny, Kaladi, Monson,
Ooh, no
which could
Schweizer.
be really dumb. It could be really dumb because Schweizer could be in amazing shape. I just have no knowledge of it. Actually, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm swapping that. I'm swapping. I'm going to put Schweizer on instead of Monson. I'll go Cranny, Kaladi, Schweizer.
I do believe Kaladi is kind of the sexy pick because people don't want to pick Monson and Klecker, right? Because they're like, all right, we got to change it up because it doesn't feel fun to pick the same team from last year. But sometimes the
Yeah.
same team from last year is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
However, I do think this. I do think the story coming out of this race will be Infeld making the team.
Wow.
Former. I think
That's
that's the
bold
story.
pick.
I think
Bold
Infeld
pick.
getting third is going to be the headline. Emily Infeld, kind of like how Lopez Lemong had his second run in
Yeah.
2019 and 18. I think
Yeah.
Infeld is that second runner, and I'm going to go with Cranny, Monson, Infeld.
Okay, good. A little bit of variety there on that pick. All right, let's keep going. We got other races on Friday night. Women's 2 mile, targeting the world record. 8:58 is the mark. Nian Saba ran 9 flat last year. She only needs a PR by 2 seconds. But Gordon, am I crazy to think that almost the more interesting thing is the fact that we're getting Nian Saba versus Sifan Hassan in this race? Usually, when you hear world record attempt, you're just like, all right, it's a star athlete, a couple pacers, and some filler people. It's like Sifan Hassan is in this race. So I think we should be talking more about Nian Saba versus Sifan Hassan than we should be Nian Saba versus the world record.
1,000%. Yeah. Makes no sense. This is not a world record attempt. This is a dual battle between
It
two
could be
great
both,
distance
but
runners in Hassan and Nian Saba with a record in reach. Like that's what we're getting. And even Klosterhoffen being in the mix. I mean, she's gonna be a really good third place finisher if she finishes third here.
mhm.
But yeah, I'm excited for this race. At first, I wasn't because I felt like time trial, cool, 2 mile record. It's a time that's not run that often.
Yeah,
Um, so I was kind of not looking forward to it. But now that Hassan's in it, we haven't seen Hassan in a while. Nian Samba, this could be a preview of the final lap of the
yes,
5K at World Championships with
yeah, yeah.
Hassan and Nian Saba going neck and neck.
I love the way you said preview there. You said preview, added a little bit of
Mhm.
gravitas to it. Yeah, if Hassan's in shape, this we know Nian Saba's in shape. She just beat Kipyegon, outkicked her in a great race. So maybe I'm missing something. Maybe but I don't think Savon's out there to pace.
No.
And if she's not out there to pace, I don't think she's out there to be a supporting actress in a record attempt. I think she thinks she can win this thing. And if so, we're going to get a really incredible race. Will there be a drop off after those two or maybe another person? Absolutely. You're going to see two different races form here. You can tell that just based on the names on the start list. But Hassan, it would surprise me for her to sign up for this to just lose by 20 seconds. That doesn't make any sense. Now, these other fields a little bit different. The women's five and the men's five, because those records are, I would say, harder to attain. Just because, I mean, Gade has the PB because she has a world record. Chepka has the PB, but we haven't seen them that much. I mean, we saw Gade tearing up on the roads last year in the half, but like Cheptegei, we haven't seen a lot. So really have no clue. So I'd be inclined to go with no on both these in terms of records. It's just going to be them versus the Pace Lights and the Pacers. I initially wasn't Gade supposed to be going after the 1 hour mark. So that's a little bit different change in focus to go from, hey, you're going to run for an hour versus, hey, you're going to run for 14 minutes. That's slightly different. So I'm skeptical of both of these. Honestly, I would have preferred Cheptegei to be in the 5,000 on Saturday. Having two 5,000s is giving me flashbacks to 2006 pre-classic when Gatlin and Asafa Powell ran in different sections of the 100 and there was no final, just one A and one B. And I was in the stadium very mad that day. So I'd prefer just to see him compete. He already has the world record. I don't know why he needs to go and break it again. I get it. You get offered a lot of money. Go do your thing. Um, but I think both of these are going to be tough to beat, even though they just need to better their own marks. How do you see them?
Yeah, I'm kind of. I mean, after the whole world record craziness on 5Ks and 10Ks during like the pandemic years, I'm. Where did they do them? They did them in that one city. Where they doing them all?
Valencia, and then
Valencia.
Cheptegei
That's
set
it.
his in. Cheptegei set the 5 in Monaco though, but then the 10
Monaco.
in
Okay.
Valencia. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
And then
just
last
kind of
year,
like the. It was fun when they were going after a record that stood for a long time. It was Bekele's record, right?
yes,
So like, there's like, whoa, this hasn't happened since like early 2000s. We're seeing
mhm,
20 years later something happened. To see, hey, he ran a half a second faster than what he did last year. There's just
that's
not
it.
a
Yeah,
excitement behind that. And same thing with G'day. So in my mind, I feel like we're watching a workout, like a hard workout. It's not going to be entertaining. Um, I think the only way it would be entertaining is if like someone stays with them. Like if randomly we're like, holy crap, there's someone with G'day with 400 to go or
yeah,
800 to go. Or like, holy crap, Chezarek, not that he's going to, Chezarek is going to run 12:55. Whoa, like
yeah.
that would be cool. But that's the only way these two races are going to get me up is if something interesting, unexpected happens. And yeah, whether or not they run faster than the little low lights on the inside rail, I don't care. So
Yeah, you have world record fatigue is what you're saying.
yes, at this event,
So,
this
well,
event,
the next step though, so the women have these barriers though, in the 5 and the 10, these numerical barriers that are interesting
yeah,
because I mean, obviously a sub 14 would draw your interest, but she's at
true.
14:06, so that would be a big jump up. And again, maybe she's in that kind of shape because the last time we saw her was in a half marathon where she ran 102:52, which is crazy, which equates to all sorts of insane times. But we haven't seen her since. That was in October. She doesn't race at all this year. So unless you're her coach or her training partner, I mean, no, we're all just guessing at this point. So I'm going to bet against the fastest time in history and say she's not going to be able to do it because she's also talked about running a marathon in Valencia at the end of this year. It seems as if she's trending towards longer stuff. Maybe the 10 would have been better. See her versus Hassan in a 10 because remember Hassan had the record for 20 minutes last year where they're taking a crack at sub 29. That would be that would have been fun. That would have fulfilled the promise of this meet because you got two Nike athletes there and we could actually you could actually try to make them race in this situation because there's very few 10,000s. You can't expect them to do it at a championship meet, but that's a battle that we'd want to see. All right, two of you go at it, and the winner is gonna be the first woman under 29 seconds because he's run 29:01. You put Hassan in there, you have someone to push you the entire way. That would have been a better. See, I should have scheduled this. I would have canceled the men's 5 because we want to see Cheptegei versus everybody else. We don't need it. And then I would have had a women's 10 here instead. That's what I would have done. And you know what I would have done? Jamaican fans in the chat, wake up. I would have put Oblique Seville in the men's 100. I would have put Oblique Seville in the men's 100. You guys strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
Put him in
There's
there.
lanes
He just ran
available.
9.8. Well, not anymore. They filled him already, but
Oh,
he should have been in there. He should have been in there. Oblique Seville should have
agreed.
been in the men's 100 once we had scratches. That bummed me out because I thought, hey, silver lining. People's big
Just got
name
an up.
scratch. It's a chance to get a new name, someone who just popped up, onto the main radar. Let's get him out there. They didn't do it. Go ahead.
Update on the people trying to break into my house. They have left, but they left
Okay.
like a giant branch. It's really weird. I'm gonna have to investigate this situation.
Okay.
So I'm safe for the record. I'm safe right now in my home.
All right. I was going to ask a follow up, but that'll take us down a different road. All right. So Friday at 9 a.m. Central, we'll do the rest of the events from pre. So we'll do lightning round. So that's the 200s all the way through the mile.
Yep.
Touch on some field event highlights as well too. Steeple, blah blah blah, all that stuff. All right, let's do Guess My PR. It's time for this week's edition of Guess My PR. To participate, you can leave a comment on YouTube or email us at flotrackpodcast@gmail.com. If you sent one in and you haven't been featured yet, we'll get you in the coming weeks. We have 2 athletes send in workout splits, some photos and videos. Gordon and I have not seen the messages and do not know what the PRs will be, as evidenced by our previous guesses. As we reveal their workouts, leave a comment in the chat what you think their PRs are. Before we do the final reveal, we'll see what the live audience thinks in the comments before Gordon and I make our final guesses. So we have Aiden, I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. My apologies if I'm not, and Will today. So Colt, let's run through these. Let's do it. Gordon, put your thinking cap on.
We are starting with
already
Aiden.
on.
This is the split we're going for.
100
Ooh,
meter.
American.
Ooh, I like this. Okay. 100
Right.
meter.
Okay, you can't get on Tiefers now.
I'm not gonna cheat. What's the purpose if you cheat?
All right, American River College. So
You can't look at what division that is because that's helping you
no,
out.
no. I'm looking at how close it is to my in-laws' house. It's very close to my in-laws' house. I'm trying to garner I get as much information here as I can.
American River, is that a
triangulating.
community college? That's a community college, right?
American River College is a community college, it appears. Yes.
I feel like this is cheating, but okay. All right, cool. So I got
That's
that.
that's not
So I
cheating.
know-
That's not cheating.
Okay.
Because
All right.
junior college, you could run 10 seconds, you can run 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Doesn't
true,
help
that's true.
you. Keep going. Sorry.
What's
First piece
the
of
workout?
information.
Oh,
200
gives us
PP.
another
Ooh.
PR. Ooh, okay, I like
See,
this.
I like this, Aiden. This is helpful. So his 200 meter PR is 22:32. 22:32.
So half of that is 11.1.
So he's faster than you think he's faster than that?
4x4 split, 48.5.
All right,
A
Aiden's
little
moving
faster than me.
on that 4x4 split. So wait, 22.2 was the PB?
22.32.
22:32.
Yeah.
22:32. 48 and change. All right, I need to write some of this stuff down. Getting out my PR.
Is that all the
calculator.
information?
No, we have one more piece of info and then a little bit of a video. So here's the last piece of info.
Let's keep it coming.
Second leg on a 4x1 that ran 41:88.
There's a typo there. It's not a 4x1,000. It's a 4x100.
That's all right.
So
Cold
we
to
got
get
a
on
little
that
typo.
next time. All right.
You ran
So
what? 41.88.
Yeah. I have a
Divide
range
that
I'm
by-
thinking of.
Divide that by 4.
You just. I'm interested to know what the chat is. We got a lot of
So
sprint
that's
folks in the
good.
chat.
Telling us he's the second leg most likely means he's the fastest guy.
Right. That's right. People love putting
So-
that. It's the longest leg. All right, I'm looking at the chat here. Is there any other
Chat might be
info?
looking him up on T-First and then give you an answer. So don't.
No,
let's
they
do
won't
it.
do that. The chat would never ruin it. That's not fun, chat. Don't do that.
Here's the last piece.
All right, here we
just
go.
a little video. Little video was sent in as well.
Oh, you could see him
Alright, so
race. Okay.
He's at the
Do we
he's
know
at the
what lane
Sac
he's
State
in?
track. No, man.
Well,
We
what do we get
don't
from that? We
know.
have no idea
We
who he
don't know
is.
who he is. He's in the
He's the one in
race
the
though. He's in
he's in
the
the
He's in
race.
that
American
race
River
still.
College single. Show the video one more time.
Oh
Can
God,
we
hold on.
zoom
Let me
in at
time it.
all?
Ready? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Show that again. The runner in the inside lane. I don't know what jerseys it were. The runner in the inside lane pulls up, so I'm guessing it's not him. Look at the runner in lane 1. Right there, pulls
This one
up.
looks like an Aiden. I don't know. Okay.
Well, can you see on the jersey? Okay.
I think
Do you
I
have a
know.
guess?
I think I know. I think I know. I think I know.
Should I tell you what the chat is saying?
Hold on. Let me double check. What I'm gonna say. Is this win legal? That's a good question. Is it win legal or is it win dated?
Whatever he said.
We don't have that
Okay.
info, unfortunately.
I'm gonna go with.
Hold on, I'm going to tell you what the chat says first. Hold up.
Okay, I got mine.
We got a 1062, a 10.7, a 1048, a 1062, a 1084, another 1124. Someone says he better not be running a 22-second 200 with a 10.4. I'm going to go 10.9. 10.90.
All right.
Yeah, that's the thing. The 22-second 200 and you run 10.4, that's bad. So I'm gonna round up and do 10.59.
Wow, you're going 10.59. I'm going 10.90. So we have a difference of opinion about 3/10 here, Gordon. Are you ready to reveal it,
I'm gonna be
Cole?
way off.
Reveal time.
All right, what is it?
Come on, I need this one.
Oh!
10.71.
Too kind.
Not too
So I
far.
was off by 12. What were you off by? What'd you say?
10.90. I was out by 0.19. Not bad.
So I was closer.
These are kind of more fun on the sprint. I'm only up by half a second. I mean,
But I was closer
even though,
than you were.
yeah, but it's just not as bad as being up by like minutes in a distance race. All right.
All right.
I mean, off by 2/10 isn't terrible, but it's not good. I'm not gonna beat my chest until I get one of these dead on. All right, number 2.
The line of saying I'll be upset if he runs 22.3 and there's a 10.400. That's whoever said that in the chat. Very true. Because yeah.
All right. Here's the
All right.
second person.
Good
This is
find.
from Will. He's asking for 4 different marks.
All right, Will, that's a lot.
Come on, Will. All right, man. All right.
Gordon's got people at his house, so he wants an 800, a 16, a 32, and a 5,000. He wants his whole suite of
Let's write a book about it.
PBs here.
All right.
All
What are we
right.
doing? Let's get through this. Here we go.
All right. Here's a photo.
All right. Can we enhance the photo? Can we see what sort of
Does he have a baton in his hand?
yeah.
So that means
So
he
he's-
probably was fast enough to make the 4x8 team. Is that a baton? Wait, is that
No.
a baton? Does he have a
No,
baton in his
no,
right
no
hand?
baton.
No,
No baton.
no. It's
It looks
Princess
like he kinda does.
Anne. Is that the name of the jersey on there? Looks like All right. Well, the guy behind him has a
speed suit on.
and a tattoo on his quad. All right. Next.
And
I
he's
can't get
beating
much
him.
from that.
Okay,
3 times 400 with 5 minutes rest. 58, 57, 57.
It's a very short workout.
That is a very not dissimilar to the one that we have on the site today, Workout Wednesday, with Shafiqul Maloney and Britton Wilson of Arkansas. They did 3x400 with, I think, 5 minutes rest. So 58, 57, 57. All right.
I think this is from that, but this is a.
Yeah, here it is. Felt decent. Great speed session for me, especially considering my PR in the 400 is 57. Ooh. So now we find out his PB is 57 that he equaled. Although I'm saying that PR is probably off.
All right. Next workout.
This is hard. Banger workout. Running makes no sense. 12 by 400. 60, 230 rest alternating. 72, 66, 72, 68, 71, 66, 71. Okay. So you did this last one in 60 after doing 11 and around 65 to 70. 5 hours sleep and one of the best workouts. I don't get this sport.
Okay, that's difficult
5
because
hours
the
of
rest
sleep.
keeps. Oh, the rest keeps alternating too, which is really weird. Put that one up one more time, Colt. So 72s and like 66s and then 71s, 65. So he gets down to 60 by the end. But that's quite a bit of rest. So he wants 8, 16, 32, and 5, right?
That's right.
Okay. Do we have anything else?
Yep, we have one more Strava segment and then a video. So here's the Strava.
Okay. See, I would automatically, or the old Kevin would discount the long run, but that went back to bite me before. Strava segment 13.16 miles was 612 average. 6 hours of sleep. He's not sleeping enough. And the mile yesterday made this run interesting. Ran with Michael for 9, then cruised it in. Felt solid, great course. Fort Story was a little lonely, beautiful weather. And got a click with governor and attorney general. Okay. So
politician here. There we go.
So 613 though for 13. I'm not going to discount that. Show some endurance there. I am worried about his sleeping habits. Let me see the video. Cool.
Again,
Yeah, this looks
not sure if we can pick him out from the crowd, but
all right. He's running in a big group. Looks like early days of a 5,000. Okay, well, this is tough, especially because he's asking us for 4 marks. And my marks are not going to line up. And his marks probably aren't going to line up because it's tough to have inline PBs for everything. So I'm just going to go shot in the dark here. People, put them in the chat. Let me see what the chat is saying here. Anybody else have guesses in the chat after seeing? What's his name again? One more time.
this is from Will.
Will. What
All right,
are
I'm
Will's?
ready. We'll be way off, but I'm ready. Should I just
Okay,
tell
someone
you?
says no. Let people guess first, man.
Oh, people guessing.
That's fun.
Okay.
We have to. What went into your guesses? Give us some insight. Which workout
I try
did
to
you
figure
put the
out.
most?
I just try to predict his mile time and then extrapolated from that. That's what I did.
You try
I
to
try to
predict
predict
his
the mile
mile
time and extrapolated from that. I wasn't thinking
Okay.
about his 800 or his 2 mile or 5K. I was like, all right, what can he run a mile in? And then someone who runs that mile, what can they run other events in? That's how I did it.
Okay, so I
And
have.
then considering he can run 13 miles at 6-minute pace, helped with the 5K prediction.
Yeah.
There seems like a math problem every time we do it. I feel like I'm just doing
Yeah,
algebra.
it's tough. It's tough. Okay, so someone says 5K PR 17 minutes. No way. It's 17 minutes. That's too slow.
Yeah.
800, 159, 1600, 432, 3200, 921. Well, if
There's
he
no
ran
way his PR
432,
is 159 in 800 if his PR is 57 seconds in a lap.
well, I
think
think
he's
that
ever
was
broken too.
I don't think he had run an 800, and that was the joke. Someone says 800's got to be 156, 157.
No.
The 3 by
He's never broken two.
400 is it? Oh, I think he has.
I don't
You
think
think he's broken two?
No.
What do you have for
It's
his
hard to
mile,
break two,
man?
man.
Okay.
I'm not telling you.
What do you have?
Well, I'll tell you when we reveal, but he's not broken two. I'll go on my grave. He has not broken two. Watch, he's going to broken two, but I don't think he's broken two.
Yeah, and you know what happens? It means you got to say. Okay. So I'm thinking he's more distance based.
Yes, that's why I don't think he's
That's
broken.
that's my guess here. I have him under 2 though. All right, you ready to reveal? What do you have?
All
Don't
right,
tell us yet, Colt.
so should I just say what I have?
Yeah.
I have 1530 5K, 935 2 mile, 437 mile, 205 800.
Wait, what was your 2 mile? Your 3200?
935.
That's weird. You have a faster 2 mile than me, but all my other ones are a lot quicker.
See what
Wait,
happens.
you have 432 mile, but what's your
437. 437 mile.
What is
205
5K?
800. 205
I got that.
800. 437. 935. 15:30.
I mean, if he's 4:37, he can run faster than 15:30. I have him 14:40.
Okay. So maybe
I
I'm way off.
mine don't line up. I went all gut. I didn't do a calculator. I went
I did
14:40,
gut too.
9:40. No, you have Excel open. I can tell you got your Excel face on. 14:40, 9:40, 4:25, 1:59.
425. He's not running 425. I mean, maybe the
Let's see.
shoes.
Come on, Will.
You
Come
ready?
on, show
shoes?
me the money.
All
Here
Come
we go.
on. Can you do it one at a time?
Oh!
Oh, wow, I was off. Wait a minute.
The 205, I was good with my 8. The 206, I was good. Then 437, you had what? 425. You were better with the
I had
mile.
4:25. Yeah. I had
2 mile, I
9:40.
had
He ran 9:40.
935. What'd you have?
9:40. I win that one.
Okay, 5K,
These
I
are the
win that.
weirdest. These are
I
the
had
weirdest
1530.
PRs. Yo,
I had 1530.
I was off. Yeah, my 805 were so far off, but 16 and 32. That's crazy.
There was no way he was sub 2. I was like, you don't do 3 by 57 and be a sub 2 mile with 5 minutes rest. Like, that's so much time. If he did that with like
What
60 seconds rest, then he can break 2. But he did it
what
with
was
5
your
minutes.
what was your 5? You said 15:30, right? And he was a
Yeah.
16:03. Dude, hold on. Put up his distance run again. The one where he ran like 13 miles and said hi to the governor or something like that. Maybe he's not sleeping enough, but like, hold on. Yeah, if you can run 13 miles in 6:12, like you can run under 16 minutes.
Yeah.
I ran under 16 minutes, and I mean, maybe he went to the well on that one. Maybe he's going all out, but I'm assuming that was still kind of a training run. Like he needs to get in a 5K. He needs to bag it on the 800, move on from that, and focus on the 5.
Yeah.
That's so strange that the middle ones worked out and then the ending ones. I mean, 14, I was really ambitious with the 14.4. That actually doesn't make any sense now that I think about it. I picked a faster 5K pace. My thought process was if he's in college, he ran more 5,000s than 3,200s so that his 5,000 pace would be quicker. Should have gotten like a 15 something or other. Anytime I see those fast long runs, I get like my
Excited.
mind. I have wonder in my eyes. All right, let's close it out. YouTube
All right.
comments. Thanks for participating. That's my PR.
Email us.
That one was, yeah. First one in YouTube comment. Hold on a second before that. Yes, Robert says you realize to run 14:40, you need to come through in like 9:30. Yes, I'm realizing that. My thought process was he would have run the 5 more. Like that would be like a college PR. 3,200 would have been like a high school PR. But yes, realize that. I didn't have the calculator either. Robert, you are correct.
All right. YouTube comments of the week. Let's do it. New segment. This is in reaction to Oblique Seville's 986. Do it once, now we listen. Do it twice, now we believe. I like that. That's fair. And I carry water for Jamaican sprinting. Michael Richards agreeing with my take that it needs 2 data points before we start believing. So
yeah, he print and put on a shirt, Gordon.
Yeah,
That's a
good
quote. You're
quote,
saying is catching on.
Do it once, I'll listen. Do it twice, I believe.
Here's my saying for Seville. Put him in the pre-classic. That's my saying. That's what they should have done. All right, next one.
And I think we'll get that second data point at Jamaica Trials. This is a reaction to Sha'Carri's run this past week. I think she'll pull in the lane and not just show up, then run the day after, just to hurt Gordon's feelings.
Ooh.
She'll pull in the lane and show up and not run. Ooh, so will Sha'Carri scratch pre with like 3 days to go? That would be wild. If Sha'Carri were to scratch pre right now, after all the other scratches, she gets her own little scratch day. That would be pretty wild. But I don't think she'll.
Next comment. No, she's running, I think. This is about Dean Asher Smith beating Sharika Jackson. Rose says there will be a Jamaican sweep in Eugene 2022. This is how Jamaican do things. Watch out for Jacko. First of all, I like that. I like the confidence. I like Jacko. I just think it's really tough to pull off a sweep. Yes, they did it before, but that's very difficult to do. I would set the chances of it happening is higher than, or not happening is higher than it is happening. But who knows? I mean that you feel good about Fraser Price and Thompson Hurrah. It's just I think it's gonna be very tough for that third one.
The advantage they will have is they'll have 4 Jamaicans, right? Because Shelly Ann has the bye.
Yes, yes.
So they just need 3 of their 4 to finish top 3, not 3 of their
Mhm.
3. So
Yeah.
there's that advantage.
Again, this is not a slight on them as a whole. They are the best women's sprint nation right now by a big margin. The problem is it's just hard to do that at a championship. We've seen time and time again. So when you do it, appreciate it, savor it. It's not going to
We'll
happen
definitely
every
get
single
2
time.
out of
Next,
3 at the minimum.
yeah, you probably put the line at 2.5. This is from James about Bromell and Zarnell Hughes false starting in Birmingham. Just let him line up and run again and disallow the performance for record purposes. People paid to see Bromell run. Saw some of this sentiment. I talked a little bit about it in the Birmingham recap. I understand people are frustrated. They want to see him run, but I think we need to decide: are we a sport or are we an exhibition? If we're an exhibition, then yeah, sure, have him go and run again. If we're not, if we're a sport, which means it's based on competition, you have to have the same rules for everybody. And if you're going to let people rerun after false starts, then what you would have would be 8 people taking a flyer or not, you know, and then the television product or the streaming product, whatever it is where you're adding so much time onto that race. You'd get slower times too because all the restarts would drain the energy out of their legs. So I understand why people want to see him run. My dumbest idea about false starts, if you want to do this, if you want to just say let him run, just don't do a callback gun and then DQ him after. Treat it like someone stepping on the inside rail in an 800 or 5,000. It's not like they go and they grab, they didn't grab Robbie Andrews and take him off the track immediately and like show him a red card. Let him finish the race. Now that has all sorts of problems for obvious reasons. It would totally screw up the race. But to just let them run after we all acknowledge that they false started and broke the rules, again, that's exhibition stuff. That's not sports stuff.
Or what they do is you just have the DQ field. All the athletes get DQ'd. They get to run on the other side of the track into a headwind, so they have to be
Yeah, yeah,
disadvantaged, and
yeah,
they get to run their own little DQ race.
yeah,
So it'll just be Bromell versus Hughes for the
yeah.
best DQ'd runner.
And then everybody gets to see him. I understand it stinks. It's anticlimactic. It's brutal. It's unforgiving. But what's the solution? No one's come up with a better solution than this. Next comment. This is a response to our guess my PR from last time. Oh, and we almost nailed the 400-meter hurdle PB. This is from Elliot who wrote it, and I definitely had to laugh out loud at that 5 times 200 at 70 to 90%. Yeah, that's when I thought maybe this segment isn't going to go in the direction that we thought if people are going to send us that stuff. But I kind of like it, how people have their own twist on it. For instance, today, Aiden sends us his 4x2 or 4x1 split and says that he ran second leg. I like how everybody has their own little interpretation on different data points.
Yeah.
It makes it fun. Just don't. My only recommendation: just don't send in trying to get 4 times. Let's just cap it. Can we cap it at 2? Is that reasonable?
Cap it at 2.
Yeah, 2. Let's just do 2. 4 is a lot.
2.
Again, my brain starts to break at a certain point. We got any left, Colt? 3 more. Okay, we'll go quick. Relegation track and field. Luis says, what about a Formula One system where teams recruit full track teams? By full, I mean cover multiple events. So NAZ, Bowerman, etc. get scored as a team, but also individual athletes are ranked by event.
Never happen. Our sport is not big enough to handle full. The reason why we have full track teams in the NCAA is because it's paid for by football TV money. And there's no football TV money when you are a professional track and field athlete. So it's really hard to structure full teams. They try doing it with these fake leagues and fake drafts. It's all not real. It's only real when there's money behind it, when there's legit TV revenue money behind it. Just because you came up with a new team name, came up with a draft, came up with a logo, came up with a host city, that's all just like window dressing. The reality is a team sport only survives if there's legit revenue behind it. And track and field's an individual sport. There's a reason. And it's possible to thrive as an individual sport because the Masters and Wimbledon, they don't need team tennis to survive because it's centered around legit individuals around a Grand Slam system. And yeah, so teams, it works in college because there's a foundation of the NCAA, which funds Olympic level sports with their football and basketball money. And that's how it works.
Gordon, why don't you take this next one? I'll be right back.
I'll take the final two. Are track and field blowouts entertaining to watch? Is in response to that post. Certified Chaos said, close races are better, although Bolt in 2008 was great. His race in 2012 was better because it was close and the field was loaded. Yeah, I can see that. It is. I agree. Close races are better than blowouts, but there are some times when blowouts are fun because it's the holy shit moment of I can't believe this person is so much better than everyone else in the world. But I agree. Close races still at the end of the day are more fun to watch. And the final YouTube comment of the week goes to
Drum
Blaine
roll.
Johnson.
Ooh,
First of all, Blaine, who names their son Blaine. Sorry, that was mean. I shouldn't have said that. I should have opened up.
What?
That was. Can we strike that from the record?
Right.
Blaine's a great name. You know what? I'll name my first son's middle name Blaine just for that. But let's read what he said. Let's read what he said.
I'll take this one from you, Gordon.
You take it.
All right. Remember when there was basically nobody running sub 336 in the 1500? Then 2 months later, the Olympic record fell. This is in response to us talking about how slow the 800 is, which everybody's talking about how slow the 800 is. But I do not remember that happening because it didn't actually happen. I went and looked up last year. You can look at the times. You had Oliver Hoare and Justin Knight running fast at Mount Sac. You had Jared Naguse setting the collegiate record at ACCs. You had all sorts of fast performances that were hinting at how quick the 1500 would be when it came time for the Olympics. So I don't know if the implication is that it's going to be slow and then early season and the 800 is going to get faster, but I don't see the parallel really at all. We had all sorts of guys going for it all last year. So I don't think that's going to be the case. But anyway, thanks to all the YouTube comments. We're going to leave it there. Colt, thank you. Travis, thank you. Gordon, I'll see you on Friday, man.
Friday morning. See you guys then.